Toodle do, my merry band of bitches. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, that's a hell of an intro, right? Shout out to Goon Nation. I am your host, Dr. Goon, and we are here today to discuss some of the most overpowered narratives in fiction. Now, first episode is going to start with comics. Second episode will probably be just comics too. But if this gets enough love and support, let's say you guys hit 300 plus likes on this video, that'd be amazing. I will spread it to all of fiction. And I want to preface as well by saying certain characters have several overpowered storylines / narratives. However, I will only be doing one per character per episode. I won't have like one episode dedicated to one character or whatever. But I'm going to do 10 per episode. And when I say OP narratives, I mean in the general sense, consistently, these narratives are super OP in comics. Like they never go away, and in fiction too. They just always seem to be some of the most consistent things in the stories surrounding these characters. But without further ado, I'm not going to waste too much of your time. Let's get into the most overpowered narratives in fiction. First up, we gotta do it. I mean, you knew it was coming eventually. Why not get it out the way? Superman in the concept, the idea of hope. Now, what do I mean by that? Superman, Clark Kent, Boy Scout, Big Blue Bitch. He is someone that embodies that symbol of hope in DC. He is quite literally hope itself, the embodiment of it, in that at the end of the day, narratively, people look to Superman as the hope. When all hope is lost, you may see the symbol of Superman. You may see Superman himself coming to save you. This prevalence of hope as it ties to Superman was so OP. Even Dr. Manhattan, who was basically God at that point, was like, yo, what the fuck is this hope shit? It scares the hell out of me. It is insanely consistent in comics. It is a multiversal concept for DC, as in everywhere in the multiverse, the hope of Superman exists. Super broken, one of the strongest, in my opinion, and I had to shout it out. Next, we have Punisher with his OP narrative getting active. What do I mean by that? Well, Punisher, pretty much no matter how you dice it, is gonna get active in the trenches, right? He's gonna kill somebody. He's gonna shoot at ops. He's gonna put bad guys in the ground. It is so extreme that we've even seen this narrative expand to Punisher basically being like God's Punisher to the people. He's unlocked the beast, right? The biblical beast. He's that big of a, hey, I'm going to show up and fuck you guys up type of character. And his narrative surrounding that, him just, no matter what, he's shooting at shit. It's so crazy that we've literally seen it take him to godly statuses narratively. Next, we have Dr. Doom. Now, Dr. Doom, if you're not new to the channel, you know it's one of my goats, right? Like, I fuck with Dr. Doom the long way and the strong way. Which narrative am I talking about here? I am talking about the narrative of his ego, which I think is what makes his character so amazing. Now, to me, one of the greatest narratives around Dr. Doom is his ego. No matter what happens, Dr. Doom believes he's that guy. No matter what he faces, he believes he's that guy. It's so extreme that in recent comics, a Celestial came down to judge all of humanity, right? And he was like, yo, Dr. Doom, I'll judge you fine if you admit Reed Richards is smarter than you and better than you. Dr. Doom was like, go fuck yourself, Celestial. I would never say such things. Dr. Doom's the GOAT. Walks away. Celestial, he kept it such a bean right there. He kept it a band with the Celestial, and the Celestial was like, bro, I have to respect that shit. Thumbs up. His ego is that consistent, that OP, that it gets him through almost anything, because he's that guy. He's Dr. Doom. Next, we have Batman. Now, of course, there's different narratives you could pick with Batman. The one I decided for episode 1, prep time. This is perhaps the most controversial of the narratives that'll be mentioned in this episode, but it is really true. If you give Batman 10 minutes, he's gonna fuck your shit up. Like, if he has some time to figure out how to beat you, it's pretty much up from there. We've seen this extend from everything to regular rogues in Gotham who try to get the drop on him, all the way to literal gods, okay? The prep time meme, that's some real shit. That's a real narrative. It's even at one point in the comics been called one of his superpowers. Batman does have a superpower, prep time. It's an OP narrative that we constantly see. his ability to get it out the mud no matter what's going on with prep time. Next, we have Silver Surfer. Now, this one is personally a narrative I think we have to acknowledge because he's such a fucking jobber. Okay, he finds a way to lose. But really, the narrative around Surfer is holding back. We've seen it throughout the decades, all the time. And it's really what gives his fans hope, right? They're like, hey, Surfer could win, he's just holding back all the time. And it's like, all right, eventually you got to call him a pussy, right? But holding back is a big deal. And really it's tied to Nornrad understanding how powerful the power cosmic is and just not wanting to reach those extreme god levels because that can't be healthy for him, right? Well, we've seen when other people get his power, they ball the fuck out, i.e. Tony Parker, or I almost said Tony Parker. Shout out to my goddamn Spurs, all right? Tony Stark, when he got the power cosmic, was fighting cosmic entities, no problem, right? Nornrad's afraid of his own power. He's afraid of what he's capable of, not always proud of what he does. And I feel like the holding back meta around Silver Surfer is genuinely a powerful narrative. Next, we have Flash. This is real simple, but it's something we have to acknowledge, right? It's one of the strongest narratives in fiction. Flash is gonna be fast. Flash being fast is a fucking narrative. I don't care what you say. Everything from the Speed Force to his origin to pretty much what he's only good at, which is being fast as fuck. That narrative is so strong. That is all Flash is known for. Like, when you bring up Flash, they're going to say, oh yeah, he's fast as fuck. He's the fastest man alive. It's also a narrative that's surrounded in controversy because oftentimes his speed, his narrative of being the fastest there is, will be challenged by other characters. And when other characters show up as fast or faster, it's a really hot topic. And that just shows how strong that narrative of him being the fastest there is. Like, it's literally one of those points in DC that when it's crossed, everyone gets to arguing because, hey, he's supposed to be the fastest. That's his narrative. Next, we have Ben Grimm. I could probably list about 50 different narratives surrounding my boy. You know Ben Grimm's the fucking GOAT, aka the Thing. I'm going to point out in this first episode the never quit narrative. No matter what situation Ben Grimm's in, whether, and by the way, shameless plug, go check out my documentary on Ben Grimm, Yancey Street Broke My Heart. My favorite video I've ever made, without a doubt. Whether it's him as a little boy, growing up to an alcoholic, abusive father, and just not giving up because he had hope from seeing what his brother did, to seeing his brother killed in a gang fight, taking up the mantle of the gang leader, getting his get back, and then growing from that, from playing college sports, to supporting his best friend Reed Richards, becoming the Fantastic Four, to facing down gods, deities, and everything in between to save Earth. Ben Grimm does not hold back. That narrative has withstood the test of time and has even been acknowledged by the likes of Stan Lee, who made himself a character and went into the story of Ben Grimm. Overall, I think that narrative is absolutely broken and I thoroughly respect it. Next, we have Sentry. Now, this is one I think we have to acknowledge. One of the big narratives with Sentry is his mental struggles. In a lot of ways, literally since his inception as a character in his OG run, which I always say I wish that run had continued because it was fucking amazing. But Sentry has always struggled with his mentality. Whether it's holding back, being afraid of the Void coming out, or having legit split personalities, to even at a point becoming separate people, to him arguing with a mirror because in the mirror he sees the Void, which is really just himself. There's a ton of stories surrounding Sentry, and pretty much all of them have to do with his mental struggles. It's what defines his character, and it's really the big argument for, hey, Sentry was never a Superman knockoff. He's high as fuck off drugs, tripping balls, has mental issues, and he's strong as a bitch. That's Sentry. That's not Superman, you know? So I do think that is a big part of his character. Next, we have Moonight and being chaotic. Now, you're either on one side of the fence or the other when it comes to Moonight. When I say that, I mean, like, you're either a really big Moonight fan and you love how chaotic his character is, everything from his multiple personalities all the way up to working for the moon god and fighting all the other superheroes when there's a supermoon out. Like, he's fucking crazy, right? Shout out to Khonshu, my guy Khonshu. Or you just hate him. You're like, dude, all he is fucking chaotic. All he is this, like, you know, wannabe Batman who's also tripping all the time. Regardless of how you feel about it, you have to acknowledge the chaotic narrative surrounding him is as consistent as it gets and has always been around, which either makes you love or hate Moon Knight. And now, smash the like button if you haven't already. We will get to the last character for episode 1 and their narrative. By the way, I dropped 2 videos yesterday. I've been inconsistent with my uploads, and it kind of fucks the algorithm up. Go check them out if you haven't already. I covered Kraven's Last Hunt, and I covered Avengers vs. Freedom Force, The Beef, which is one of the funniest videos I've ever uploaded. It's funny as fuck. But this is Doomsday, and the narrative I love when it comes to Doomsday is the anti-hope or no hope. He is the living embodiment of the opposition narratively to Superman. He is that monster in the dark. He is the nightmare you can't get rid of. He is the destruction of hope when all you can hold on to is that last sliver of hope. Whether it's initially killing Superman, which caused a collapse in comics, all the way to coming back, fighting the Justice League, fighting Superman again, terrorizing his son, terrorizing Supergirl, Martian Manhunter, terrorizing the entirety of Hell. Hell was like, dude, we have no hope. It's crazy. When you got Hell saying we have no hope, it's fucking absurd, okay? His narrative of being the anti-hope or no hope is so extreme, makes his character amazing to read, and leads to some crazy stories and has always been consistent. But anyways, guys, let me know which character in fiction should be featured next. If you guys run the likes up on this video, I will definitely drop a part 2 featuring not just comics, but other characters throughout fiction. Let me know who needs to be featured in this new series. I hope this series does well, because I have a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, anyway, it's been your boy Dr. Goon, and I will see y'all later. Peace.